Happy 2021 and welcome to Melinden TV. I had a few video ideas pre-filmed, but I wanted my first video of the new year to be a little bit more special. So I thought it would be fitting to have today's video be about something that I have been working on for the past few months. And I'm so excited to finally share all of my hard work with you. Starting on September 28th and continuing for 10 weeks, I got trained by Brooke Ence. Okay, so I didn't really get trained personally by Brooke Ence, but I got trained by her app. Does that count? First of all, who is Brooke Ence? If you don't know who Brooke Ence is, get out from the rock that you've been living under, because she is one of my personal favorite athletes. So if you're like me, then you might have first seen her playing an Amazon in the first Wonder Woman movie and also the Justice League movie in the DC Cinematic Universe. Can you imagine being chosen as the actor to play one of the women who were a part of a mythical race of warrior women? Amazing. Not only is she an athlete, but she's a businesswoman. She has a skincare brand called Athea. She has a fitness apparel brand called Encewear, and I actually do have an Encewear shirt that I was going to wear for this video, but I can't find it. And now she has her own fitness programming app. This is the kind of body type that should be being showcased nowadays. I think women are afraid to lift heavy because they think they won't be feminine anymore. They won't be pretty anymore. They're afraid of getting too bulky and too muscular. And I think Brooke is the perfect example of a woman who is quite clearly physically strong, but also very traditionally beautiful. And I've been following her ever since. But the Brooke Ence endeavor that I'll be talking about today is the Naked Training app. It is fitness programming put together by Brooke Ence and a team of highly qualified fitness coaches and experts. They had an 8-week transformation challenge going on at the time, which cost $49.99 to join, and the winner was going to receive a $5,000 vacation. The second place winner was going to get $500 cash plus a free year of naked programming, and that was the same prize that was going to the third place winner as well. Naked Training isn't just available to people who are doing 8-week challenges. It's actually a programming service that's available year-round. It costs $19 a month and $149 a year, which is a ridiculously low price for the amount that you get with it. This is me speaking in retrospect, now looking back at the programming and the app itself, and it was such a high quality that it's almost robbery how little you pay for this service. I thought the app was really, really good. I liked the app so much. I thought it was user-friendly. I thought it was very organized and easy to use. You could see that day's workout divided up into supersets, and you would go into the gym with no questions. Your warm-up is programmed for you, your cool-down is programmed for you, your cardio is programmed for you. You're told exactly how many sets, exactly how many reps, exactly what the weight is, and even how long to rest in between. Love it. In the top right corner, it has a red circle that says 90 minutes because that's how long the workouts were for the specific program that I chose. But let's say that you had less time on a certain day and you still wanted to get your workout in, you could tap that circle and it would show you how to modify the workout if you had 60 minutes, and tap it again and it would show you how to modify the workout if you had 30 minutes. And I thought that was a really cool feature because I'm definitely a completionist in that there have been times that I just didn't work out if I knew I wasn't going to have time to finish it. And I think this is great in making sure that no matter how much time you have to spare, you're still getting your workout in. If you click on the green plus sign, it'll give you a description of that specific workout. And if you click on the red video, you'll get a video demonstration. so you can actually see how that specific exercise should be executed with proper form. There's even a place to enter the exact weight you did, the exact amount of reps that you did, so you could save and then access your exercise history in the future and see what weight you were able to do in the past. And once you filled out your maxes, that meant that you wouldn't have to do the math later on. If you were supposed to be doing this many reps for 60% of your weight, the weight that you're supposed to be working at for that day would auto-populate, so you're not sitting in the gym doing your own math. It's already done for you. As a part of the membership, you got to choose whatever program was most suitable to the equipment that you had available. If you had no equipment and you were working out from home, they had a program for that. If you only had dumbbells available to you, there was a dumbbells only program. If you were a member of a commercial gym, there was a program for that. And then there is the program that I chose, which was the functional program, which just meant that you needed to be able to have access to a bar with plates to do Olympic lifts. The last thing included with the Naked Programming membership is access to their private Facebook group. The coaches were really active in the Facebook group, so you could always go in and ask a question about either the programming or about fitness in general. You could collaborate with other people with similar goals as you. People were sharing their progress pictures throughout. It was a really nice community. They sure do enforce the fact that it's a private group, because as soon as I put my membership on hold, I went to log into the Facebook group and my access had been revoked. So I love the app. I thought the app was great. I loved using it. I loved how it covered every single part of the workout, and there was no guesswork left to me. I didn't have to try to figure out, oh, I wonder how much rest I should be taking, or I wonder how many sets of this I should do. Everything was in the app. I thought that made it really easy. I love that the exercises were personalized to my 1 rep max. There was no workout that was going to be outside the realm of what I could do. I also love that the app auto-populated with the weights that I was supposed to do. It did the math for me, so I didn't have to figure out my own percentages. I like that there was an exercise history function in the app where you could go back and see what your previous performance had been on a specific exercise. I love the feature where you can customize the amount of time in your session, 90, 60, or 30 minutes. I love that the programs were customizable based on your personal goal, whether you wanted to lose weight, maintain weight, or gain weight. And then I like how you could also customize based on the equipment that you had available to yourself. The app also had a mobility assessment that I thought was very interesting, so it was nice to kind of identify what some of my mobility weaknesses were. I wasn't as flexible as I thought I was. It's going to sound bad because I have more things on my cons list than my pros list, but that doesn't mean that I didn't like the program. I like the program a lot, and I really hope that they take some of the feedback that I've given and feedback from maybe other participants and continue to make this program better and better, because I think the program is great. One of the coaches in the Facebook group said that they were currently in the process of upgrading the app, so maybe some of the feedback that I have are things that they're already working on making better. One thing that I didn't like about the Metcons were the videos. So every other exercise in the app, you click on the video and it shows a demonstration of the exercise being done. The Metcon videos were different. Instead of a demo of the exercise being done, it was basically just one of the coaches talking you through the exercise, which was definitely helpful in getting a clearer picture of understanding what you were doing during the Metcon. But if there were any unfamiliar movements in the Metcon, you basically just had to look them up yourself because you weren't getting a demo there. I also didn't like that the Metcons were just flat exercises that are the same exact exercise for everyone. It was the only part of the programming where the weights were not customized to your personal ability level. There was one weight for men and one weight for women, and a lot of the times you had to modify because the Metcons were way too challenging. I think about me, and I'm somebody who has a very athletic background, and I considered myself pretty strong going into this. And I had to modify a lot of the Metcons because they were too heavy, or some of the reps that they were asking me to do, there were too many of them all at one time. I'm like, I can't do 50 pull-ups in a row. Are you kidding me? I can't do 21 cleans in a row at 95 pounds. What are you talking about? And so I wish that those were a little bit more customized because they weren't beginner friendly, and honestly, they weren't even intermediate friendly. I mentioned before that you can save your workout history, which is a great feature, but this function doesn't work if the workout is a different name. So sometimes you would be like, I feel like I did this Metcon before, and I want to compare how I did in the past to how I did now, but you have to literally go back and scroll through the workouts one by one to find out what it was because the history wasn't showing up. I didn't like that there was no notes section in the app. Yes, there were blank spots to fill in your weight and your reps, and there was an unlimited amount of characters, so you could technically save your notes there, but I thought that was messy and crowded. There are some features that you can do if you email the Naked Programs support team, but I wish that these were features that you could just do yourself in the app. For example, if you wanted to switch back and forth between programs, let's say that you were on a functional program, but you were going on vacation and would only have access to dumbbells for a week but wanted to continue your program, you would have to email support and ask them to switch you over to the dumbbell program, and then email support again when you return and ask them to switch you back. And I wish there was just a way to switch between programs yourself in the app without emailing support. I also wish that you could pause your membership on your own. You can do it again by email. You can ask them to pause your membership, but you can't do it on your own. Or let's say you get hurt or something and you miss a week of programming, but you don't want to miss it. So you would have to email support and be like, hey, can you restart me on day 71? I wish there was a way for you to just go into the app and do that yourself. The app would really benefit by having a movement library where you could just go in and see a video demoing a specific exercise. The way the app is set up right now, you can see a demo for an exercise, but only if you know a specific day where you're doing that exercise. So let's say you wanted a demo of what a snatch looks like. You would have to go in and find a day that has snatch included in the program. I think it would be better to have a movement library where you could just go down to the letter S, find snatch, and watch a snatch demo video. After doing the same warm-up like once or twice a week, it got boring. And I wish that there was a greater variety of warm-ups. Not saying that they didn't serve their purpose, not saying that they weren't effective, and not saying that I was the best at them. I'm just saying that doing the same thing over and over again definitely got boring. And then on the other end, the cool downs. So the cool downs were some kind of mobility routine. I don't know if everybody's mobility routines were the same or if mobility routines were specifically assigned to you based on the mobility assessment that you took. That I don't know. I feel like the latter would be better, but I have no way of confirming that. However, I don't feel like the cool downs were comprehensive enough. So if it was an upper body day, there would be an upper body mobility routine as the cool down, but maybe that day had some really intense lower body stuff too. Like maybe there were a decent amount of deadlifts as a part of the Metcon and you weren't stretching the lower body at all. So if you wanted to stretch your body comprehensively, you had to do the cool down that was in the programming, but then also more cool down, more stretch on your own. Before I mentioned how I liked the feature about how you could customize the time of your workout, 90 minutes was ideal, but you could also do 60 or 30 minutes. I thought this was a great feature, but the con is that it wasn't always accurate. I feel like a lot of days the workouts did take more than 90 minutes, no matter how fast or proficient you were. And sometimes you would customize the workout to be 30 minutes and it would still take way longer. I chose to do the challenge because I don't have any races coming up, but let's say I was in race training, I would not be getting enough running in through this program alone. And the program is so time consuming, 90 minutes a session for 6 days a week, that I wouldn't then have time to run on top of that. you are already involved in another sport and need to dedicate time to that sport, and then also want a separate programming to supplement your training for that sport, then this probably isn't a good choice because you won't have time to do them both, and this program has no way of incorporating more of your sport into it. The programming is divided into training blocks, but these training blocks are not common knowledge to us. You can always email support and ask, but I would like to be able to access that information directly in the app. Like, hey, we're starting a new training block. This is 8 weeks long. But the challenge was an 8-week challenge, and I think that it should have been a 10-week challenge because retest week wasn't until week 10. So none of people's progress in their foundational lifts was factored into the winner, which I think that would have been a pretty crucial piece of data to include. And finally, I think the program would have benefited from some kind of intro. So you sign on to the program and Brooke Ence's name is all over it. And then you sign on to the app and you get like a welcome video from Brooke Ence, and then you never hear from her again. It's unclear how active her role is in the programming, if other people do the programming and her name is just on it, or whether she has an active role in coming up with the programming along with her team of coaches. We don't know. And the people that you're interacting with throughout the challenge and throughout the programming, they're not Brooke. Brooke demos a lot of the lifts in the demo videos in the app, but the person who does all of the coaching and talking you through the exercises and form and everything, his name is Jake. And the coach who is in the Facebook group answering all of the questions, her name is Sunny. We're never introduced to these people. We're kind of just getting all of our information from them and all of our direction from them, but there was never some kind of like welcome video or orientation video saying, hey, this is Coach Jake, this is his role. Hey, this is Coach Sunny, this is her role. Hey, this is Brooke Ence, this is her role. And I think there were some crucial guidelines about following programming in general that weren't made clear to people. You should perform the workout directly as prescribed. You don't get to say, oh, well, this weight seems too easy, I'm going to increase the weight on my own, even though the programming says to do this weight. I feel like I can do more. Or I don't really like this exercise, I'm gonna substitute it with something else. That kind of information was never gone over with the people in the Naked program, and you kind of saw it in the Facebook group. And I don't think the moderators in the Facebook group were policing the group well enough and kind of trying to comment on the posts where people were doing things that weren't advisable. People were kind of taking programming into their own hands, like, oh, well, I don't like full cleans, so I just did power cleans instead. Okay, but there's a reason that squat cleans were in the programming. Or, I hit a new bench PR today, even though retesting bench maxes wasn't in the programming. So I think that kind of crucial information should have been really punched into everybody doing the programming. That, hey, it's programmed a certain way for a reason. Don't take programming into your own hands. And the biggest con is the nutrition. Basically, you just have your macro goals to hit for the day, and you would just keep track of all of your food and all of the grams of protein, carbs, and fat in every single thing that you ate and drank for the day, and you're allowed to eat or drink whatever you want as long as they add up to those numbers at the end of the day. Not all calories are created equal, and not all macros are created equal. So you think about something like an apple, which macro-wise might be similar to like a piece of candy, but one of them is definitely benefiting your body more than the other. But if you're just counting macros, then those foods are identical, which I don't think is a healthy mentality. I think you should be focusing on putting nutritious foods in your body, not just, making sure that things add up to the right numbers by the end of the day. I think that macro counting kind of promotes a very unhealthy relationship with food, where there are some days where you feel full, you feel satisfied, but you force yourself to eat more just because you haven't hit your macro goals for the day. Or on the flip side, other days where you're just starving, your body is asking for so much more from you, but you already reached your allotment, so you're kind of starving yourself until the next day. There were some days that I found myself eating junk food just because they were the simplest things, math-wise, to work into my macros. Because a lot of candies are just carbs only, so if I had an excess of carbs by the end of the day, I would eat a lot of junk food or drink alcohol because those were easy carbs. And I don't think that that's a healthy mentality. You have to weigh every single thing that you eat. You have to take note of all the macros of every single thing that you eat. You have to add things up multiple times a day. You're adding, you're subtracting, you're multiplying, you're dividing. I felt like I just did hours worth of math every week, and it sucked all of the joy out of eating. Me personally, I would have preferred to be given a very strict meal plan over flexible dieting. With flexible dieting, it sounds like you're getting a whole bunch of freedom, but I felt so enslaved by my macros that I would have rather been told word for word what to eat for each and every meal, and that would have made me more happy. All right, I've been chatting for a long time. It's time to get to the fun part, the results. As a part of the challenge, they had us weigh ourselves every day, and they acknowledge that day to day your weight fluctuates. So every week they had us take a weekly average of our weights. They also encouraged us to take weekly progress pictures. We only had to submit the week 1 and final photos, but if we wanted to take progress pictures on our own, that was recommended. And then they also recommended that we take weekly measurements. I think the greatest fluctuation I saw in my measurements was like 1 inch difference in all of my measurements. If you're looking at the screen, it looks like my weight was all over the place, but notice that the weight difference between when I was at my heaviest and when I was at my lightest was like, I don't know, 5 pounds. A 5-pound difference is really not a lot, but that's okay, mind you, because my goal was to maintain weight. My goal wasn't to lose or to gain. I feel like these two charts don't really tell the whole story. They don't give the full picture, because even though my measurements and my weights barely changed at all, I could visibly see a difference in my body, and I could feel a difference. Some of the mental things is I felt like I had more confidence as a person, and I felt like I had more confidence in the gym. I felt like I had much stronger willpower as far as not skipping gym days and forcing myself to make good choices nutritionally. My posture improved so much over the 10 weeks, and the definition in my body is out of this world. Mind you, I was already an athlete going into this, so I didn't think that I'd see much of a transformation, but I really did. It's not fair to judge someone who's on the calisthenics program against someone who's doing the functional Olympic lifting program. To me, it's not fair to judge someone who had weight loss as their goal versus somebody who had weight maintenance as their goal versus someone who had weight gain as their goal. And to me, it's not fair to judge beginners against advanced athletes. Some people posted their transformation pictures in the group, the pictures that they ended up submitting to be judged, and I don't think the pictures were fair. We were encouraged to wear the same clothes or similar clothes for our before and after pictures, take them at the same time of day with similar lighting and the same exact pose. And the second place winner was flaccid and blurry in her first picture and flexed and clear in her second picture, and she wasn't in the same spot, and that kind of annoyed me. I'm not going to be salty about the 3 people who won because their transformations really were outstanding. I just think it's not fair, and that maybe there should have been subcategories with separate winners in each one. But who knows, maybe they're taking people's feedback and applying it, because the next challenge, which is the New Year's challenge, apparently They went from having 3 winners to having 5, and now all top 5 winners get $5,000 cash as a prize. Like, whoa. I kind of wish I had joined that one instead. I'm kidding. Am I? So I've prepared a lovely training montage. The beginning is just a few of the exercises that I did throughout the program, and at the end, I want to show you the progress that I made in my foundational lifts. I've compiled all of my progress pics into a slideshow, and I hope you enjoy. Cue montage. To me, this was the most impressive part of the program, is being able to see how much stronger I had gotten in a quantifiable way. To have taken down my starting weights and be able to say, this is the absolute most weight that I can do right now and then to try it again 10 weeks later and be able to surpass that weight is just the most empowering thing I have ever done, and it makes me want to keep lifting. It makes me want to stay active in the gym. I was expecting for all of my lifts to improve, but some of the numbers that I was putting out in retest week 10, even I was surprised with. To see a 40% increase in my snatch. Now, mind you, I realized that in the video, that last rep was a little dicey, but I just want to put out there to the universe that the snatch is my weakest lift, and that prior to this program, I had never done a squat snatch in my life ever before, so I'm going to go ahead and count that rep. But knowing that that is the lift that I struggled with the most form-wise throughout the entire challenge, and to see a 40% increase at the end was like, ah! And I am so extremely humbled by the things that the human body can do. And there wasn't a video for it, but I also improved in my pull-ups. Week 1, they had us test how many consecutive pull-ups we could do without kipping. And I'll tell you, week 1, I could do 2 pull-ups in a row. And week 10, I could do 8. That's a 300% increase. Wild. And the progress pictures? Did you see my back in the after? I'm really not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just so impressed, because in the moment I was just like, I'm following this programming. I don't really know if it's going to amount to everything. I'm sore all the time. I hate counting macros. The Metcons are hard. I'm not losing weight. My measurements are all the same. But to actually see the before and after pictures and to compare my before and after maxes. Okay. So what's the verdict on naked programming? I loved it, guys. I really can't recommend this enough. Just try it. Just jump in on one of the challenges, or just do a month of it and see if you like it. The price point is almost unheard of in this industry. This membership is available for a fraction of the cost of other memberships, and it really does come with so much. The app is so good. Long story short, I definitely want to keep using naked programming in the future. I had them pause my membership because I want to test a few other programs for the channel, but I think that once I'm done testing everything, I'll probably go back to naked. I'd love to hear from you guys. What did you think about my transformation? Have you ever heard of this program before? Have you ever used it? Are you interested in using it now? If you have any questions for me about the program or the challenge or the app or my experience with any of those, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to give you as much information as I can. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and give this video a thumbs up because I worked on it for literally months. I post new videos on every other Wednesday here. I also host free fitness and nutrition challenges all year long, so follow the link in the description box to find out how to sign up for those. Make good choices this year and every year, and I'll see you guys next time.